Good evening, everybody. I'm Christine. I am the owner of Griffin Rich Spice Merchants. I am in the kitchen tonight to show you how to make holiday nuts. It's one of the recipes that I've been doing for years. Every time I come in and I cook for one of the wine shows here, they always want me to do my nuts because they are just flavorful, they're easy, and everybody just seems to really enjoy them. This recipe came from a friend of mine. I was blessed to work with Andrew Zimmern in 2017, 2018, I did some blending for him. And this was a recipe that I got off of his website, but he had all the individual ingredients. What I have done is I placed it in one jar, so you don't have to have all those ingredients. To do this recipe, it's really 3 simple steps. I've got the nuts already in the oven roasting because those take a little bit longer. People always ask, how long? Well, I go by a nose. I don't ever use a timer. So for me to tell somebody it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes, I can't do it. You'll know it when you smell it. Just don't burn them. That's all I can say is don't burn them. But these have been in here now for a while, so I'm going to pull these out, and we're going to start getting the rest of it all put together. This is at 400. I have a pound of nuts here that we've been roasting, and I get all my nuts from Nuts Online. They're a wonderful company. I buy these by the 5 pounds, and at the holiday time, I do all 5 pounds, and then I put them aside. I've got a wonderful social network when we're not in COVID that we have a lot of parties, and I'm always there with my nuts. So this is the front. All you do is make sure you have a heavy skillet. You don't want a lightweight one because we're going to be using rum. So you don't want that to go up too quickly on you. You're going to start with the butter. And it's really easy, just 2 tablespoons of butter. And you start to let that absolutely just melt. And it's really easy to do. So we're going to slide these over here. Grab this bowl so we're prepping ourselves for the next step after we get through with this. I've been with Now You're Cooking now since 2010. I'm honored that they were our first wholesale account, and they have continued to support us through all these years. Mike and the team here is amazing. You ever have any questions about any of our blends, they know it. They've got the answers, and if they don't know it, they're on the phone calling me. So they're perfectly great at this. We have a wide variety over there. Now you can see the butter's just starting to melt down. I just let it just do its own thing really slowly on a lower temperature before I add in the rum. The rum that you're going to want to use is a dark rum. I use Captain Morgan's because don't ever use wine or any liquor that you're not going to drink to cook with, because if you're not going to drink it, it's not going to make your food good. So let's just see if we can get this going a little bit quicker. And with the holidays coming up now, I'm hoping that we're all going to be able to get out and have a little bit more fun. I know some of my friends, we're planning outdoor events to where we're getting together, having picnics out in the parks. That's what we did this summer. So now that the butter is almost melted, you just add in your rum, and the sizzle is what you're going to want, and you just cook it off just a bit. And at this point in time, I turn the heat off, and you can almost smell it caramelizing when you're cooking it. It's got that wonderful flavor coming up at you. And then you take the nuts, spatula. That'll work. This is a bigger pan than I'm accustomed to, so I'd hate to spill the nuts on the floor. So you just put these in here. And comparative to a lot of roasted nut dishes, people usually season and then they put them in the oven. Not this one. This is one that you put them in the oven, then you season them and you let them dry. So I think I can get the rest in here now. There we go. The main thing about doing this is making sure that you coat these really, really well. You want to make sure that you take up all that butter and all that rum to give them a nice glaze. And then when you're through with them, you're just going to take them and dump them into your bowl. And this is the seasoning. This is our seasoning that we make here for these nuts. Sprinkle it on really well. And I'm just going to use the spatula I used before. And they really start to coat. And you want to make sure that all of the seasoning is onto the nuts. You don't want to leave it in the bottom of the bowl. And then just pour them back out on your sheet. Make sure you give them some space and let them breathe. And the trick with these nuts for storage, after you get them all done, is to make sure they are completely dry. Don't put them away damp or wet from the mixture. They want to be completely dry. And I recommend that whenever you store these, don't put them in plastic, as we don't want to put our spices in plastic. We don't want to put our nuts in plastic. Here now you're cooking, they've got a couple of different elements that you can use. These are some toppers that can go for your regular bowls, which will give you a good seal. They've got the mason jar, which I'm the queen of mason jars, which are great. And then they have the food savers jars here that have the nice locking down like the old ball canning jars. So use those. With these nuts, like I mentioned, I do about 5 pounds. I usually do them right after Halloween. And I just put them in mason jars and put them in the pantry. As I'm heading out the door to go to somebody's house or to go for socializing, I grab a jar of nuts, I grab my bottle of wine, and off I go. And then we just get to sit and have a really nice, enjoyable dinner. So quick, easy, and flavorful. That's the best thing about this blend.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
So, well, first thing is I've been talking about how I want to do lots of homemade things for Christmas this year, and I think this would be an awesome idea, along with the salted caramel that we made last week.
Yeah.
Maybe some bagels and stuff like that. How many different not nut blends, but how many different spice blends do you have now?
Right now we're at 64 with our last one that we just did with you on the bagels, which is our East Side Bagel Blend. It's our twist on the everything bagel with a little bit of Griffin Ridge flair in it.
Awesome. And for anybody that's tried it, you know the bagel spices are really good. And how do you come up with like some of your ideas? Do you just do you read cookbooks or travel or?
I used to travel a lot. I do a lot of reading on cookbooks. I will look at a recipe if it's a soup or casserole or something like that, and I like the flavors that are coming down, and I'm like, how do I put that in a jar? And the person that really pushed me out of my comfort zone with that was Andrew, because what he would be doing, he would be traveling in Poland. He would be traveling the Amalfi Coast. I've never been there, but he's like, capture the flavors, Christine. Yeah. And so I would sit down and read on their culture, read on their taste, what they cooked with, and then come up with the blends to go with them. Like the one for the Amalfi Coast is our Back Bay with wonderful shallots and lemons. The one from Poland is our Hunter's Blend, and that was made from a soup. Mm-hmm. And so it's just reading and saying, how do I make this simpler for people?
Yeah, that's great. And where do you source your spices from?
I am now sourcing my spices from about 4 different companies because we are no longer buying spices in the pounds. You know, it's now coming in the boxes of 50 pounds or more. So during COVID, we have continued to grow. And so as we've been growing, the demand is more. So we're buying in larger quantities so we can absolutely keep the stock there. And then right now we are running into, as everybody knows, limited stock on things. Yeah. So it's like I get an order in, I'm like, sorry, we're on back order and I don't have an ETA, but it's there. And cooking is so essential right now. With the holidays coming up and all of us being so separated from our families and not being able to socialize the way we're used to, cooking and bringing that into your kitchen with your technology, if you're Zooming with your mom or something like that. My mom and I, we've always been shoppers. So we sit down on the computer and we go to a website and we shop together because she's in Arizona and I'm here. Mm-hmm. So we can continue to do that. Bring your families back together some way or another. There's so much out there going on with COVID right now. Companies as yourself that are supporting the basis of having people at their dinner tables and trying to eat with their friends and their families. I think COVID has brought the families back together.
Yeah. So along those lines of cooking together, maybe through Zoom with people across the country, are you Do you sell your product all over the country, or what do people need to order from you or from us? I think our customers know you can we can ship, and I'm assuming you do too. But are your spices available in other places, other states?
Our spices are available in other states. We have a Find Us page on our website. We just launched a new website 2 months ago, thanks to Main Hosting. They took care of it for us. And it's a beautiful website. It's easy to navigate. We do ship anywhere in the United States. If somebody wants us to ship to Canada and overseas, we have done that. There's just a different process that we can't merge onto the website with just yet. We're not that big.
So people should call or email.
Right. Call or email us. We're really easy to get a hold of. And it's usually me that answers the phone. And if I don't answer, I'm in the kitchen. But we're still small. Yeah. You know, we're still minimal employees. We're still trying to stay small and stay personal with our clients.
Yeah. That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been really fun having you in our kitchen again.
Thank you for having me. I've sure missed being here. This is the first holiday season. I'm not going to be amongst one of the holiday parties here. So this has been a really pleasure. Thank you for letting me into your technology and letting me share this recipe with you.